This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, poverty statistics make for bleak reading and Dunedin has its own problems. Some very good news for health-affected citizens as simple solutions are found to a complex problem. And the DCC has signed off on a new pedestrian precinct, returning life to a once neglected part of town. And a very good evening, I'm Craig Story. The latest child poverty statistics are painting a bleak picture of life in New Zealand. The third annual Child Poverty Monitor shows almost 10% of Kiwi kids are living in severe poverty, and there are some specific problems here in Dunedin.
A third of Kiwi kids are living in poverty. That's according to the latest Child Poverty Monitor released earlier this week. The recent figures are the worst in over 10 years, reversing the downward trend of late.
It is getting worse. I think that's fairly conclusive in the latest monitor, although if it's not getting substantially worse, it's certainly not improving at all from our very high rates, depending on how you interpret the measures, the various measures that we have.
The annual report is a joint project involving the Children's Commissioner, the J.R. Mackenzie Trust and the University of Otago. It uses 4 measures to determine the prevalence of child poverty, including income, material hardship and ongoing poverty. Cadell says it's work that's necessary to help encourage the government to establish a plan for doing better.
We would hope it would inform policy, and that's really where the work of groups like Child Poverty Action and the media and many other groups who draw on the work of the Poverty Monitor can then use that to engage in education and advocacy around the issue of poverty.
The negative health outcomes associated with child poverty are of particular concern locally. Cadell says while Dunedin's house prices are lower than other main centres, it's the state some houses are in that's causing issues.
Although we don't have housing as a cost issue, we do have housing as a quality issue. So in terms of the impact of poverty, in some ways it's heightened here in Dunedin because we live in such a cold climate with quite a large proportion of old and cold houses.
She says tackling child poverty at a national level will take several years, but she's hoping the situation will improve just as long as it remains high on the public agenda. Ruby McAndrew, 39, Dunedin News.
Some staff at the Dunedin Hospital kitchen are heading into Christmas without jobs. It's believed that 7 workers have been made redundant in the Compass Group takeover. A further 30 employees are reportedly waiting to hear the results of staff cafe restructuring. Union representatives say some people are upset by the job losses, although the redundancies are fewer than expected. Earlier this year, the Southern District Health Board decided to outsource its food operation to the multinational Compass Group. The move was opposed by many, although it is expected to save the board almost $7 million over 15 years. Local researchers have discovered that a hormone can be used in the treatment of an artery disease. The specific ailment blocks blood flow to major limbs around the body, leading to amputations and even death. And the hormone being applied could be useful in relation to other diseases.
Lending an arm to science, these University of Otago researchers have found a way to help aid the treatment in a life-threatening artery disease.
In this study, we used ghrelin, treated the animals with the critical limb ischemia, and then found that this ghrelin, the hunger hormone, can actually develop new blood vessels.
Dr. Rajesh Katari and Daryl Schwenke found that an appetite-regulating hormone called ghrelin improved blood flow to limbs. When administered daily over 2 weeks, blood flow in the affected areas improved dramatically. The researchers are excited with findings as there are no drug treatments for the disease yet.
So this is groundbreaking in that it opens a whole scope of future research for treating critical limb ischemia or pathologies that have poor circulation.
Each year, 200 New Zealanders are diagnosed with the non-curable disease that causes severe pain, non-healing ulcers and gangrene. Half of all sufferers die within 5 years. With these local findings, researchers are now looking to see how the hormone can be used in other medical cases.
Where we've basically shown a proof of concept that ghrelin does modulate or improve circulation in a diseased state. What we want to do now is take it to the next step where we can say, well, if we have for example, an animal model of diabetes, can it really improve circulation in these particular models?
The research has been published internationally. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
Police are investigating the ransacking of a Waverley house during a burglary. Officers say the Doon Street home was entered yesterday afternoon when a garage window was smashed. Thieves reportedly stole a PlayStation console, a laptop and a toolkit. They also allegedly took a black canvas bag containing $500 Australian and 70 British pounds. Drawers were left open and several boxes of alcohol were moved in front of an unlocked garage door. Police suspect the thieves were planning to return for the boxes. A proposed new passageway has received approval from the Dunedin City Council. The Jetty Street pedestrian mall is aimed at transforming part of the warehouse precinct, but changes are still a few months off.
Making way for more business. These streets are set to become a mall for pedestrians after a pledge to revitalise the area into something more aesthetically pleasing.
What we could do here would have a pretty big impact on the rest of the precinct if we could make it look a lot better. And with a lot of the buildings around it now, like the one next to us being reused and restored, we thought now's the time to start looking at how we could use the space differently.
The Jetty Street pedestrian mall means there will no longer be vehicle access from the state highways, but Vogel Street will remain open. Council staff say the area has become revitalised in recent years with shops and artwork, and adding this mall will help.
The area is certainly developing well and exceeding our expectations of how quickly things would happen down here. And I think what we're finding is, and things like the Vogel Street Party are showing this, is people do want to use spaces in the city differently. For a long time we've engineered the city around cars.
The Dunedin City Council has given approval for the proposal to go ahead despite earlier concerns. Some councillors and authorities were worried about pedestrian safety and fire hazards. And although the plan's been approved, the urban design team has to wait a month until an appeal period is over before starting construction.
And we've been through the hearings with DCC. Councillors has accepted the recommendation of the panel. We now have a 1-month appeal period. In theory, that should take us through to, I think, the 14th of January. But we've also noted that because it's the Christmas period, that if people wanted that extended out to the 1st of February, that we'd be happy for the court to do that.
If all runs to plan, traffic restrictions in the area will start in March and development is set to follow in June. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
Cool. Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, creditors shoulder the financial burden of a failed sporting organisation, and an international health initiative aims to help our Defence Force personnel.
Here's something else to look forward to sinking your teeth into every weekend with the Otago Daily Times, the Weekend Mix, your guide to what's hot in fashion, entertainment, food and more. New weekend magazine in your ODT. Pick up your copy this Saturday.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell menswear, it fits.
Get along to the Wings and Wheels Open Day, Sunday the 17th of January at Tyree Airfield, with over 600 historic vehicles on display, plus vintage and modern planes, loads of free kids entertainment, plane and helicopter rides, demos, stalls, delicious food and live music. That's Wings and Wheels Open Day 2016.
Hedges are something we almost take for granted. A good hedge needs regular maintenance to look its best and to add value and character to your property. For all your hedge care needs, call the team at SGC Services on 0800 783 453.
Chiropractic care is a drug-free way of sorting out stress and pain by getting your spine in line with body and brain. At Mosgiel Chiropractic and Wellbeing, we provide family chiropractic care. Feel taller, lighter and brighter. Call Mosgiel Chiropractic and Wellbeing today, 484-7272.
McClellan Refrigeration is your one-stop shop for heat pumps in Dunedin. We have a range of heating, air conditioning and refrigeration solutions. We also have 20 years experience. McClellan Refrigeration, call us on 477 0088.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boys store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices is just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget we've also got your milk, bread and meat. Veggie Boys Dunedin, your guaranteed a treat.
Granddad loved his family and surfing, in that order. He taught me to surf and we spent a lot of time in the water together over the years. When he died, I strapped the camera to the nose of his old board and filmed the paddle out at St. Clair. Gillian's played the video on the big screen at his funeral. Granddad would have loved having everyone come out one last surf with him.
Gillian's Funeral Services, helping families celebrate the lives of their loved ones for generations. Gillians.co.nz.
Congratulations, you're getting married. Hi, I'm James Morris, wedding celebrant, and it's my privilege and a pleasure to bring you the perfect ceremony for your perfect day. Don't wait or contemplate. Your consultation is free with no obligation. jamesmorris.co.nz.
Pallet fires are growing in popularity in Otago, with people who want a clean and efficient form of home heating. The sight of a burning flame without the problems of chopping, stacking and carting wood around is a winner. Pallet fires, so easy, so efficient.
Tune in on Thursday for Motorsport Night on Dunedin Television.
Welcome back. Basketball Otago creditors are collectively saying goodbye to more than $160,000. That's the amount of debt the organisation has wiped off its books by paying just 30 cents in the dollar. That's after an agreement was reached earlier this year with creditors willing to shoulder some of the franchise's financial woes. The organisation almost went into liquidation, but a group of campaigners managed to fundraise just over $60,000. Basketball Otago managers are expecting to return the books with a modest surplus this year. And on that note, let's take a look at today's financials. Good news, green arrows across the board, some pretty strident rises across the Dow Jones, 224, and almost 400 points up on the Nikkei. And red arrows when it comes to currency, I'm afraid, but they are small drops and it's all seasonal variation which can be expected when looking at the pound, the dollar and the Australian dollar, the euro making a very small drop. The health of war veterans, serving personnel and their families is set to be enhanced through new research at the University of Otago. It's a collaborative project involving a leading Canadian institution, and Associate Producer David McBride of the University of Otago joins us to explain. David, this is very exciting. Please go into this project and where is it going?
Well, we think it's exciting because there's very little research have been done on veterans serving, people who are serving and their families. And the thing is, you don't find out about health conditions or other disorders unless you go and look for them, and that's what we're going to do. We've looked at the health of Vietnam veterans already, and what they're suffering from is, well, you know, it's distant in time from their exposure. We expect the same thing to be happening with contemporary veterans, those who have served since Bosnia, and of course the families bear the brunt of anything that goes wrong or any problems with the veteran themselves, and they have their own problems.
And that's not quite an invisible problem either, is it?
It can be. Families health research is something certainly that the New Zealand Defence Force have in mind, because they know that they need to support the families, and they've been making every effort to do so.
Is there a lack of support?
There's no lack of support. The thing about contemporary veterans, that cohort who's been to Bosnia since 1990, is that they don't see themselves as veterans. They see the Vietnam veterans, They see the Second World War veterans, but they don't see themselves as being veterans until things start to go wrong for them. And health issues that occur much after they've served, and then they start to ask questions. Could this have been caused by my service? What's the link? Who's going to support me now?
And what happens next?
What happens next, that's exactly right. And New Zealand Veterans Affairs, of course, are there to help, but they should be helping earlier, possibly. So we're trying to highlight those conditions which may be a problem in the future. And this came out of the Vietnam veterans with chronic renal failure, chronic obstructive, chronic bronchitis, for example.
The collaborative nature with this Australian institute, how closely are you working?
We work very closely. We're in touch quite a lot and looking at the research that's going on there. For example, surveys of military families to find out what their problems are. And if we can build upon that research, there's no need sometimes for us to reinvent the wheel. If we use the same research methods, then we're internationally comparable. But Otago can potentially produce innovative research because, you know, we're a world-class institution as well.
Right. And there's also work underway?
There's work underway. We're trying still to do some basic stuff to highlight the profile. So we're hoping to put together a cohort of contemporary veterans. We think there's about 16,500 out there. Right. And we're hoping to follow their health to see if there's any issues arising. And from that, we can go on to do, you know, look at specific problems and hopefully generate some interest and some funding to do some veterans' health research.
Right. And the profile of the University of Otago?
Yes.
Okay, how is this being plugged in? How are we supporting in that way?
The university's always been very supportive of us. They've supported us for the past 4 years now to the tune of $95,000, which is, you know, considerable support, and we are trying hard to build upon that. But research funding now is just, it's difficult. It always has been, always will be, and you've got to do the best that you can.
Professor David McBride, thank you so very much for coming in. Appreciate your time. And after the break on 39 Dunedin News, sport is the winner on the day as funding allocations are announced, and there is more good news in the weather forecast.
Help delay the signs of ageing with Collagen Plus from Silverhorn. Collagen Plus helps supplement your body's own natural production of collagen, giving you firmer, healthier, younger looking skin, shinier, healthier hair and stronger nails. It's restoring your beauty from within, and it's great value. 3-month supply, that's 180 capsules, is just $98. We'll pay the courier charge to you, and we'll give you a luxurious face cream as well. Beauty from the inside and the outside. Give us a call today, 0800 502 402.
Mobility Scooters Otago. Mobility Scooters, new and used, electric manual wheelchairs, strollers and walkers. Free home demonstration and delivery. Call Tony on 03 455 2875 or visit our showroom, 211 Canudwood Street, opposite Westpac.
The team at Caltex North care more about you than just putting fuel in your tank. They care about you and your family. At the Caltex Valley Workshop, the skilled service team care about your safety, extending the life of your car and helping you live more economically. There's a range of modern equipment to give comprehensive warranty fitness checks and servicing to your vehicle. Come visit your only local in North East Valley and receive 10% off when you book your warranty and service together. That's your friendly Caltex Valley Workshop, 134 North Road, or book online at caltexvalley.co.nz.
From rare to the recent, visit the legendary Hard to Find for your quality second-hand books, with the largest stock in New Zealand and a friendly book-loving atmosphere. For good prices, buying or selling, come visit 20 Dowling Street.
Mosgiel Mowers Plus can help you with products to make your garden maintenance jobs easier. Lawn mowers, ride-ons, chainsaws, line trimmers. Sales and service are our specialty. Mosgiel Mowers Plus. Phone 489 3572 22B Gordon Road, Mosgiel.
Bring some more joy into your world by adopting one of our adult animals at SPCA Otago. Call now on 473 8252. Please adopt a pet now. They will love you forever.
The Good All, it's all about our customer care, great food, great coffee, and supported by some awesome staff. We think it's really important that the customers, when they come in here, have a good experience and leave wanting to come back. And I think in a nutshell, that's what the Good All is all about.
I understand now how economics can affect global warming.
And I found out how grass growth in New Zealand affects Fashion Week in Milan.
I can even tell you how smartphone technology affects the survival of mountain gorillas.
Sorry.
Because at the Otago Business School, it's not just about the world of business, it's how business affects the world.
I'm Kim. Michaela.
David. And this is our place in the world.
Take your place in the world. Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell menswear, it fits.
Get along to the Wings and Wheels Open Day, Sunday the 17th of January at Taieri Airfield, with over 600 historic vehicles on display, plus vintage and modern planes, loads of free kids entertainment, plane and helicopter rides, demos, stalls, delicious food and live music. That's Wings and Wheels Open Day 2016.
Here's something else to look forward to sinking your teeth into every weekend with the Otago Daily Times. The Weekend Mix, your guide to what's hot in fashion, entertainment, food and more. New weekend magazine in your ODT. Pick up your copy this Saturday.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
Tune in on Thursday for Motorsport Night on Dunedin Television.
Welcome back. More than $200,000 has been given to local organisations for sporting upgrades. The Otago Community Trust is allocating the money in its latest round of funding, totalling just over $1.2 million. Now, three main donations in Dunedin are for the improvements at the University Oval, King's High School and the Caversham Harrier and Athletic Club. The University Oval embankment is being upgraded and increased in size to accommodate almost 6,000 people. And King's High School is building a covered 3-lane cricket practice facility. And the Caversham club rooms are being upgraded. The $1.5 million City Fleet fraud case is entering a new stage, with the Dunedin City Council seeking damages through the High Court. The council's taking legal action against the estate of former City Fleet team leader Brent Bucket. The coroner's report into his death was released this week. He was found to be responsible for defrauding the council through police and audit investigations. Now, the DCC is seeking about $1.2 million in damages, as well as interest and other costs. Its insurance company is fronting the claim, having already paid out $1 million to the council in relation to the case. And it's time now to take a look at what's making headlines in August. A tertiary student challenged the University of Otago over its controversial plan to axe dozens of trees on campus. And the Dunedin Botanic Gardens' newest facility was officially opened. Local authorities were cracking down on drugs.
Protesters were making themselves heard in August. A tertiary student's passionate plea saw the University of Otago backtrack on its plan to remove 50 trees from campus. It was part of an almost $8 million landscaping upgrade, but the students' gratitude came with a stern warning.
I just wanted to thank the university authorities for taking my concerns on board, and I do appreciate it. But the next time you decide to do anything, please consult the students, because we form a big part of this community.
More than 2,000 people took to the central city in protest of the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement while it was being negotiated. Later in the month, more local protesters picketed the office of National MP Michael Woodhouse. They were calling on the government to strengthen workplace health and safety laws.
The Health and Safety Act is there to protect the employer as well as the employees. There's no reason today that you go to work and you're killed on the job because you're doing your job.
The Dunedin City Council's largest single investment in the Botanic Garden finally came to fruition. Staff opened their new multi-million-dollar propagation facility, almost 20 years in the making. Local police and customs officers were also cracking down on the importation of illegal drugs by university students.
The operation brought several arrests, which the Chief Customs Officer hoped would serve as a deterrent.
The students think at that age they're invincible. It's easy to order it over the net and they're safe because they're not going to the gang addresses, buying it from gang members. You order it at home, you press send on your computer and it arrives in the mail. So it seems like safe. So I think the students get into it quite a bit for that.
George Street Normal School celebrated the realisation of a 5-year dream when Prime Minister John Key visited. He opened the school's $1.2 million new modern learning environment. Associate Tourism Minister Paula Bennett also spent a day in Dunedin praising local initiatives to boost tourism. And she was particularly pleased with the creation of Enterprise Dunedin.
I think it's important that the Mayor and the councillors have set up Enterprise Dunedin, that one place where you can go that's looking at how you attract people here, the kind of experience they're having, what they're spending. It needs that kind of regional perspective.
The month ended on a positive note as the City Council began winding down its flood recovery efforts. And local Cancer Society members brought a splash of yellow to the city as they celebrated the 25th Annual Daffodil Day. Ruby McAndrew, 39 Dunedin News.
And now, recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. The latest child poverty data is concerning residents who say Dunedin has some specific problems in relation to the national issue. Local researchers have discovered a breakthrough in artery disease treatment using a hormone that could have other medical uses. And a proposed pedestrian mall in Jetty Street has been approved by the City Council, but work's not expected to start until next year. And now, let's take a look at what's happening in tomorrow's Otago Daily Times. It's the boss.
Hello, Craig.
Hello.
How are you? We have a story of a top musician who's lost some use of his hands after a mountain bike accident. So, tragic story there, although he's on the road to recovery. Red Cross is ramping up its preparations for the arrival of the refugees in Dunedin. We have a story on that. And Jamie Joseph, the Highlanders coach, will he or won't he go? So there's sports editor Steve Hepburn is looking at the rumours of the Highlanders coach moving to Japan. The DCC has decided to spend $54,000 to open the municipal lane toilets 24/7. So that'll be a relief to many, I'm sure. Dunedin's former Southern Bar and Grill pub is about to change to apartments. So they got consent for that, so there's a change in the city landscape. And lots more.
It's such an evolving city. Thank you so very much. Thank you. And with that, time now to have a look at our weather.
This weather report proudly brought to you in association with Silverhorn's Collagen Plus.
And starting with today's city view, taken of a train track light tower. Say that 8 times fast. Around the city today, the Dunedin city recorded 12, around the Gardens 16, and out on the beautiful Taieri it's 16. For the situation, a cool southwesterly flow is easing. A ridge of high pressure will bring warm nor'westers to the South Island on Sunday. And the forecast for the main towns in the lower South Island for tomorrow: Invercargill, moderate sou'westers, clouds 16, moderate sou'westers for Gore, also 16. Te Anau is the same but 15 degrees. Alexandra, fine, light winds and 18. Queenstown, fine, light winds 18, and it's good weather across no matter where you look, even into Twizel. And here in Dunedin tonight, some cloud, mostly fine, and overnight low of 15, but tomorrow, fine and sunny, scattered light cloud, light moderate easters. Cool temperatures though, a high of 17 but a low of 2. And the fishing, well, Saturday, fine and sunny, a high of 17, a low of 8. And a high tide 10 and low tide of 5. Fishing conditions are good, the best at 6:52 a.m. Good luck. And that's all from the good men and women of 39 Dunedin News. I'm Craig Story. May the force be with you.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.